Update. Am I wrong for sending my ex's wife the screenshots he sends me? Original post. So, me, 35 female, and my ex, 37 male, got divorced 4 years ago when he cheated on me with his now wife, 28 female, while I was pregnant with my daughter. My ex is a douchebag to say the least. He didn't feel an ounce of remorse when he cheated and then married his mistress 3 months after the divorce. I, on the other hand, worked on myself for me and my daughter. I was a stay-at-home mom, but I got my master's and now I'm doing a better job and in a better place. Since almost 2 years ago, my ex has been sending me messages which were intimate, sort of. The first time it was that he is not happy with his wife now. She does not love him like I did. He wants to divorce her and get back together with me. I felt sorry. Back then I was stupid, so I thought I could win him back. But the next time we met, he ignored me. I did ask him about the messages, and he told me he was drunk and there was no problem. The messages of that kind didn't stop. I asked him again, and he got mad and said, "Stop trying to woo me. You know I divorced you because I was not happy with you. I am happy with my wife now." I didn't bring it up again. He would send messages like this once a month. At that time, I thought I would just ignore him because I did not want to create more drama and look like the crazy ex-wife. He would text me complaining about his wife, but then again post pictures with her and go on dates. This was so confusing. There was one time he went to a drive-in movie, and he sent me a picture with the caption, "I remember this place. I wish you were here." His wife was still visible in the picture. The straw that broke the camel's back was when I started dating. I didn't tell him that I was, but he must have known from our friends. The last message he sent me was that he wants to be with me. He cannot believe I am not with him anymore, that another man is sleeping on our marital bed. He wants me. And if I say the word, he will leave his wife and be with me. I got tired of his crap, so I sent the screenshots of his messages to his wife and told her to control him. He must be drunk. I even sent those messages where he criticized her. The next day, he bombarded me with messages that I ruined his marriage. I better fix this and tell his wife that this is all fake. He doesn't need this stress in his life. He called me and screamed at me that I was a petty bee for what I did, that I am jealous of him being happy. I don't know. Should I just have ignored him? Because that didn't work the last time. Now for the top comments before reading the updates. Not wrong, but your ex is something else. I think that if you had been with him, he would have dumped you after one night or wanted an affair. He wants to have his cake and eat it too. I do think you should have set stronger boundaries, and no offense, you were a bit naive here. Anyway, back to boundaries. Unless it is about our child, do not text me. I do not want to hear it. What's his game plan anyway? I mean, he was the one who wanted the divorce. He excitedly moved in with the mistress. He messages me and then brags about how much better his life is now. Weird. I think he's like a child and doesn't know what he wants. I'm sorry that this completely demented man is in your life. I don't think you did anything wrong. The only thing that complicates the issue is that he is still in your kid's life, I assume, and depending on his state of mind, he might try to manipulate against you, as an example. But ultimately, you can't be held hostage by this dude being crappy. You shouldn't have to put up with those messages. What's the custody situation, if you don't mind me asking? I'm just asking in case you think he might do something dangerous after his next divorce, assuming that's how it goes. Right now, she is with him from Friday to Sunday. Monday, she is with me. There was a whole lot of drama regarding it. When my daughter was born, it was visitations because she was a baby and needed me. My ex wanted more visitations, but his wife didn't want to deal with kids. I know this isn't the end of it. If he has made any threats, or if you think this might destabilize him or make him dangerous, then I'd recommend that you discuss the situation with a lawyer, if you're able to, ASAP. Even if it's just to get a sense of your options. I'm really sorry that you're in this situation. Don't worry, I'm always in contact with my lawyer. Apparently, there is a thing called parental alienation. He hasn't talked crap about me to my kid, but let's see. Now for the first update. This is not much of an update, rather a shocking one. Today I got a visit from a rather unexpected guest. She is my ex's wife. It is the first time she came to my house. She said she wanted to talk and it was urgent. Basically, she told me if it is possible for me to lessen the visitation. My daughter's with her father from Friday to Sunday. She wanted that to be just 2 times a month. Reasons? Because she thinks my ex-husband might have some feelings for me and he can't let me go entirely unless there is 0 contact. She knows because of our child it is impossible. So she wants the visitations to be limited. She thinks I am distracting my ex-husband from their marriage. She said, "Look, you already had a life with him and it failed. Please let me have a life with him. I want us to build a future and family, and having you a part of it is just going to crush that." I'm like, "Okay, sis, take him. I don't want him. Just make him stop harassing me or else I will report him." And regarding the custody issues, I told her if she has an issue, she should talk to her husband. I am not going to be in the middle of it. She should take it up with him if she has a problem with my daughter in her house. She tried to push this topic so that I would talk to him, but I didn't budge. Sorry if this wasn't an exciting update. I may update one more time if the custody's changed or not. I mean, is he really going to stop seeing his daughter because his wife doesn't like her? Is he really going to choose his wife over his daughter? That affair partner is a really horrible person. I'm sorry you have to deal with her. Next time, have her trespassed off of your property or call the police on her. I can't wait for her to end up miserable and alone because one of them will be cheating on the other soon. Hugs. She married a narcissist. What more misery is there? She knew him and still tied the knot thinking she won. Comfort yourself that she saved you, because otherwise you might have stayed around longer. Honestly, I love my daughter, but I feel like I am tied to him for the next 18 years because of her. I wouldn't change her. It is just a crappy feeling. I divorced when my daughter was 6. I absolutely feel disgusted by my ex. The day she turned 18, I had the realization that I never have to talk with him again. I was on the phone with him talking about when he was going to see her next, and it clicked. I said, "Oh crap, I don't have to talk to you anymore." And click, hung up. Except for really important daughter reasons, I know I have to for her. Since then, I've spoken with him maybe 6 times in 4 years. He sends texts on my birthday and Mother's Day and stupid stuff like that, and I ignore them all. He did come to my mother's funeral this past February, so out of respect for my family, I did talk with him, but it's such a great feeling knowing I don't have to anymore. You'll get there. You know, there are co-parenting apps that divorced parents can use to exchange information about the child. They can be used in court, and it's impossible to delete anything from them. I would get the family court to order you to use one of these apps for all communication with your ex, so that you can block him on all other communication channels. You can even change your phone number and not give him the new one, just have everything run via the app. I think it would be really good for you not to see any more of his social media posts and not give him any way to contact you in a private way. On the app, everything is official and should only be about your child. Block him, block her, live your life and forget about them, except when dropping off or picking up your kid. Now for the second update. This will be my last update, unless anything big comes up. My ex and I had a chat. He and his wife talked about the visitations. He kept saying that his wife has a problem with my daughter because she thinks having any connection to his past, aka me and my daughter, is not good for their marriage. After some negotiation, he presented 2 choices, one of which I threw out the window because of how ridiculous it is. 1. He takes full custody of our child, and I only see her once a month. It would be better if I just gave up my maternal rights. I swear if hitting people wasn't illegal, I would have. But instead, I laughed in his face and said that's never going to happen. If he tries anything, I will drag him to court. 2. He gives up his rights as a father. I simply asked him, will he ever be able to live with himself if he does that? Does he think our daughter will not know in the future? It was just him rambling. It is just too difficult for him to choose. I cannot believe that choosing your own daughter is so difficult for him. He said he loves our daughter, but he has a life outside of being just a father. Fair. But he also loves his wife and cannot upset her. I told him to think about it and give me an answer. Does he prioritize a coochie over his own daughter? I called him a delusional coward because he cannot even put his foot down and fight for his daughter. All he had to do was say no if he loves his daughter. Instead, he wants me to put my foot down and take the load of his crap. I told him unless he decides what he wants to do, I will keep sticking to my plan unless I hear anything wrong being done to my daughter. That insufferable man was accusing me of breaking up his marriage. Because if I hadn't sent those screenshots, then his wife wouldn't have demanded this thing from him. I told him he shouldn't have sent me those messages and harassed me. He is lucky I didn't report him. So, after a lot of back and forth, he finally decided he wants to see our daughter every other weekend. I mean, his decision. I know he is not happy, but he wants to make his second marriage work so desperately that he is willing to cut short time with his own daughter. I guess he finally put his foot down for once. As for me, I am happy the way things are. I have a wonderful daughter, a house, a new man, possibly stepkids if we ever tie the knot. My ex's problems are not my problem. I will not push him to be a good father. That's something he has to do on his own. Adios. Next story. Am I the a-hole for excluding my ex's new girlfriend? I, 29 female, am divorced with a 9-year-old daughter. My daughter's father, 32 male, has been in a relationship with a woman named Stephanie for about 6 months now. She has 2 younger daughters, ages 4 and 5. My ex-husband and I have had many conversations about how to ease my own child into their new blended family by making sure that she still has lots of time with her dad, not combining every single special event with the other kids, and keeping lines of communication open. Overall, the introduction has been positive, but my daughter has mentioned that the younger children can be overwhelming and sometimes annoying. However, despite the conversations, every single special event has been blended, for lack of a better word. We're coming up on Halloween, and my daughter has trick-or-treating plans with her best friend and her family. Halloween is my custody time. My ex-husband asked if he could come and bring his new girlfriend and her children. I said no, as I wanted my daughter to be able to have time with her friend without having the other little kids in tow. They are not officially her siblings in any way, and I feel that she deserves protected time just for her. My ex-husband says that I am purposely excluding his new girlfriend and that I should be more concerned that she doesn't have many friends or others to go out with on that evening. I feel like that is not my problem, and I am advocating for my own child without having her feel like she needs to people please or feel guilty. I am not asking my daughter her opinion, as I do not want her to feel burdened with any guilt. I did also invite them to the Halloween event at her school that same week to help initiate balance. Am I the a-hole? Not the a-hole. As a former 9-year-old, many years ago, I would not have wanted to trick or treat with 4 and 5-year-olds. That's when you're just getting into the pivotal pillowcase-filling candy years and running around the neighborhood with your friends. It's awesome you're doing your best to keep the peace. The ex calling it a blended family, only 6 months into dating this person, is deserving of some side-eye. Your daughter shouldn't have to give up her own childhood moments and memories for such a brand new relationship. Way to advocate for her. I can't think of anything that would make trick-or-treating worse than young children. They're slow, whiny, and get tired early. 9 is prime trick-or-treating age. It annoys me enough when a parent sacrifices one child's wants and needs for the other when they're lifelong siblings. The children of her father's girlfriend of 6 months is absurd. Blending your family this early seems fast. I guarantee that once the 4 and 5-year-olds get tired, the girlfriend would try to insist that they all stop trick-or-treating, using some line like, "It's only fair." He said you should be concerned his girlfriend doesn't have friends. Why? You're not her parent, nor friend nor family. Make sure you keep taking to your kid and letting them know they can freely tell you their thoughts on the new additions to their dad's household. Last story. Am I the a-hole for telling my stepdaughter I am no longer letting her borrow my car or giving her any of my money? My 50-year-old male, stepdaughter 32 female, has been married to her husband 28 male for 3 years now. Her husband has always believed in separate finances and believes my daughter should work and split the bills 50-50. Despite me pleading with her not to marry him, she did because she loved him. Now, 3 years later, my daughter calls me constantly to borrow my car because her husband's broke down and doesn't have the money to fix it. They are super bad with money, especially him. But she follows his lead and they act rich, buying things they don't need or spending money on experiences. My daughter makes more money than he does, and even though he believes in 50-50, he says she can pay the big bills because she makes more. He also has more fun money than she does, because he makes her pay for car or home repairs. My wife tells me we need to help her because she's our daughter, but I told her I'm done funding her lazy bum husband. I had a serious conversation and told my daughter, I didn't raise you to be this dumb. Leave his butt. You can find someone better. My wife thinks I was wrong for this and says we aren't helping him. We're helping our daughter. I said I was done, and if she wanted to keep giving them money, she could go out and get a job, but she could not use my money. I recently found out that my wife, behind my back, paid for a roof repair that cost $2,000. I was furious and said I told her not to be using my money, and said to my daughter, I'm no longer funding your lazy husband, and you can't borrow my car any longer. If you want to stay with this bum, then you can suffer the consequences. My wife thinks I overreacted and says our daughter is upset and crying. She's asking me to apologize, but I refuse. Am I the a-hole? I'm going with you're the a-hole for you calling it my money. You give a very my way or the highway controlling vibe. Do you give your wife an allowance like a 1950s husband? The wife is clearly wrong to have given that much money for the roof repairs without discussing it with her husband. She is not off the hook. I do empathize with your point of view despite you being a jerk about it. As the spouse of someone who had children from his first marriage, it was an adjustment for me when we were first married and his young adult children kept nickel and diming us for money. We figured out a compromise that worked for us. And as a Gen Xer, I can appreciate your disdain that your stepdaughter and son-in-laws spend their money foolishly, and also your contempt for your son-in-law's lack of ambition. Yes, I do actually. I give her an $800 a month fun money allowance. Food, bills, gas, everything else is separate. I'm deducting $200 a month from her allowance until the $2,000 is paid though. Stay strong. You need to protect your money from your wife as well. She's already proven that you can't trust her to not give away your money. Protecting your finances isn't selfish, it's necessary here. Facts. Your wife is the problem. She lies and enables her daughter with your money. Adults need to learn to stand on their own. If that means she's upset and crying, so be it. Not the a-hole. She's definitely a bad influence to the daughter.